everybody, welcome back to Ignorance Isn't Bliss podcast, where we dive into the uncomfortable and often controversial topics about ignorance. Welcome our co-host Henry, the love of my life, helping me co-host.
That's right. Ignorance has become a word that many people associate with negativity or even insults. But we're here to talk about how we can change that perception and use ignorance as a tool for growth and learning.
That's right. That is kind of the whole point to all of to doing all of this, is getting people's minds opened up and open to, and seeing things around them as less harmful and off-putting. I'm really glad that we're doing this and that we're doing it together. It's great. So let's dive right into the first segment of this, the negative connotation of ignorance. So let's start by talking about why ignorance has become such a dirty word. When someone calls another person ignorant, it's often meant as an insult. How do you think we go on?
Yeah, in many cases, that insult is meant to shame someone for not knowing something or having a different opinion. But the truth is, we're all ignorant about something.
That's right. We are all ignorant about something, and there's nothing wrong with not knowing everything. I mean, it's kind of become a two-way street. You feel kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because if you're a know-it-all, if you know everything, then you know that's a negative connotation too. It prevents us from. Let me look at this. Sorry, guys. Ignorance simply means a lack of knowledge, a lack of understanding of a particular topic. Not a personal attack.
But it has been turned into one. And that negative connotation can help people hold people back from asking questions or admitting that they don't know something.
Is that what's... I thought having scripts would be easier. It's not really, is it? It's okay. We're getting through it. In my personal experience as an author, just to give an example of a situation where my not knowing something prevented me from coming forward and asking. I could have saved myself a lot of time, effort, and energy. But at the same time, by not asking questions, I dug in and learned things that I didn't know, and pursued and researched so that I could have knowledge. And now that I have knowledge, I can turn around and pass that knowledge on to others, and help them achieve their goals of becoming a published author. But without being ignorant first, without accepting and acknowledging that I was ignorant and didn't know enough about the industry, I never would have dug into it. I never would have learned more about it. And I just would have flipped and flopped all the way through my author career. Any experiences with you like that?
Not really. I personally enjoy asking questions, finding out more, and learning how things work, how things are.
And digging in and tinkering around with things. And yeah, you're amazing at it. You really are. And even with the show here, I mean, neither one of us were 100% confident and fully knowledgeable of how, any of this worked. We've had to spend time outside of the show figuring it out. And I think that's something that people don't really get a glimpse into. They don't see that. Could that be a part of the reason that ignorance is so profound? It's not that people aren't interested. It's just we aren't showing them. We aren't showing them behind the scenes. So we're approaching people from a position of, I know what I'm doing. Do you think that perpetuates the idea that ignorance is bliss, or
Yes.
that ignorance isn't bliss?
Yes.
All right, so on to topic number 2. Embracing ignorance as a learning tool. How do we move past and get people being less insulted by the term ignorance and letting it be something else?
Well, for starters, we can recognize that everyone is ignorant about something. And that's okay. It's natural to not know everything.
Right.
I know that I don't know everything, which is why I enjoy the looking into and asking and figuring out how things work.
Would you say asking other people also? I mean, making connections with people, something that we try to do through the newspaper and the magazine and just the business in general. Do you think it's possible that we can perpetuate more connectedness through promoting and publishing other people and utilizing their knowledge to decrease our own ignorance?
Yes, I do. I believe that's a big part of why we do the newspaper and the magazine.
So what can we do when we encounter someone else's ignorance? This is one that I struggle with, because I tend to, and I try to dial back on it and only let it come out when people ask for advice or information from me. But I'm also a mom, so I tend to be very, you might not want to do that, trying to prevent harm and negative things from happening to people. So I tend to interject it, and I think that's a turnoff for people. But at the same time, I also feel like it's kind of necessary. And this podcast is part of that. We don't want to turn people off. We want people joining in the conversation, and having discussions with us about this kind of stuff, because we do believe that ignorance isn't as blissful as it's been made out to be. And be more transparent with it, as far as, look, we're not perfect. We're people. We don't know it all. We're here, but we're here and we're doing our best. And I think we need to do more to acknowledge that with the people that we engage with, the people that are around us, because we're really becoming something that is not collaborative. We're more fearful of each other because we don't understand ignorance. We assume it's willful ignorance in every case, and I really don't think that's the case at all. What do you think?
I don't think so. There are some things that people don't really care to know.
Right.
and so they don't try to know.
How big of a role do you think that plays in people being connected or disconnected?
Well, not caring to know about something in particular could keep you from not just knowing about the subject, but about everything that's involved with it, the people, which is one of the reasons I enjoy learning more about things is finding new people to talk to, finding more people to understand, and how everything relates
To everything else.
to everything else.
Yeah. Let's see. So another way that we can change the perception of ignorance is by using it more as a trigger for curiosity. A lot of times we'll see and encounter something that we don't know or understand, and we'll be like, "Oh, nope, not for me." And a lot of times we encounter people who are ignorant about a subject or don't know something, especially in our field, as pagans, as metaphysical and spiritual practitioners. We get a lot of people who don't understand what that means, and instead of ask, they just kind of shun. And it's not an intentional, oh, you're bad people. It's just, I don't understand anything about that, and so we have nothing in common. We have nothing to really talk about. We have nothing to connect us, and it puts us and the people that we do that to, if we encounter situations where that does happen, because I believe even with us it happens unintentionally. We don't understand something. We don't understand why somebody would do something that they've done, and it just, and rather than try to figure out and understand it, we just kind of go, okay, well, that happened, let's go over here. I try more now to see it as an opportunity for me to learn, but also for me to be able to teach someone else.
How do you do that?
Ask questions. Google searches, dig into some reading materials that I either have, or go to the trip to the library, check out books on it. Do it. Do it. Yeah, do it myself. Okay. If that's been a big part of it too, I guess. If I don't know how something works, much like Henry, but I'm more of a computer programming kind of person. I don't really do the physical tinkering with stuff, but yeah, digging in, and that's how I learned publishing. I dug in. I wrote a book. I published it, and it flopped. There were so many problems, so many things that I didn't account for. It was just put it up there, hit the publish button, and everything was going to be great. And then figuring out that, oh, that didn't work. So what will? And then just pushing that book through every process I could think of, platform I could get it on, and figuring out how those things worked. Once I had
So how did you get past feeling ashamed or embarrassed about not knowing something about that? When you got in and you wanted to publish, and you ran into something you knew nothing about.
I went internal with it. I totally went internal with it. I took it and went, I don't know what that is. I don't want to look stupid in conversations with people, and I don't want to. I have really, just point blankly asked questions. But my intention behind asking the questions is to make it so that other people don't feel ignorant, dumb, or what have you. Otherwise, I really dig in and try to figure it out myself, learn the terms, and go through the process so that when I am in a conversation, I'm not lost. And if I am lost, I'll listen in. I won't speak, just listen and learn from the experience. You?
Uh, mostly, I a lot of times, yeah. I'm very quiet. I like to pay attention to things and see how it works, um, so that I can interact with it, and uh, then I get even more knowledge from interacting with it, and it's all about the learning.
The trial and error of it. Yeah. How has that been? How has that had an impact on your spiritual life? Your metaphysical and spiritual and magical practices and things like that. How has that affected?
Um, it's been very trial and error. um, you just you got to learn to figure out what's right for you.
Yeah.
As far as spirituality goes, um, everybody's different in that aspect, and so it's more what's right for you, what works for you, that will bring you up spiritually.
Get you on the path that you want to be on, make you feel like you're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
I've watched you. I mean, we live together, so I see you on a fairly regular basis. And when we have company around and we have friends over and we sit down and we have these kind of conversations, I have on a few occasions seen you educate, and it's from a place of love. It's from a place of wanting the person that you're talking to have a better, healthier, happier life than what they're experiencing in the moment. And it's such a beautiful and empowering thing for me being here to just watch you be able to do that. um have you experienced situations where somebody's just completely tuned that out?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Does it discourage you?
No. No, actually, I then asked them how their spirituality is affecting their life, and work through it with them.
So that it works for them.
So that it works for them, yes.
That's been a big thing for both of us, I think, in our spiritual journeys. Is it isn't about doing it the way we do it. It's about doing it in a way that works for you, because that's really where the power's at. That's really where where the life-changing things happen, because what we do might not work and might not make a difference for you, but doing it your own way can make all the difference. I think that's pretty powerful stuff right there. I'm gets me excited. So what triggers you? What triggers that for you when you're having a conversation with someone, and what triggers you that there's an opportunity to educate or an opportunity to inform?
Usually it's clear statements that are negative or pessimistic, and I don't like seeing that. So I try to, like, there used to be a saying, I'm sure it's still around, but turn your frown upside down. I don't like negativity, so I try to turn it around.
Right. You do a great job. Yeah, it's all about making life easier and more enjoyable for the people around you. Because when they're enjoying life more, they're a lot more pleasant and easier and fun to be around. And I think that even with all the negativity in the world right now that we're experiencing on a macro level, those micro moments where you have somebody that goes, huh, yeah, that could be different. And then the next time you see them, their life is like, it's not completely, they're not suddenly millionaires and every care they ever had in the world is met suddenly, but there's a perspective shift in them, and they see things, and they're here, and they're enjoying that they're enjoying some aspect that they weren't enjoying before. They're happy, they're happier, they're noticeably different. And it wasn't that we weren't enjoying their company before, but now it's like, that's a really big deal. It puts, for me, it gives me a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment, a sense of, but that's my ultimate goal. I mean, the more lives I can make happier, the better I feel. So when that happens, and then being able to see you in action doing it too, is just really amazing for me. So
yeah.
Where are we at? All right, we got 6 minutes, a little less than 6 minutes to go. So I think we're going to end the actual podcast there. Let's wrap it up with, we'll catch you next time. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we'll be here 30 minutes to an hour just having discussions like this one. We appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're catching the replay on YouTube or the broadcast studio or even on our website, we're grateful for you. We're happy to have you tuning in and following along, and come join us in the discussion. Join us in the chat, or reach out to us and let us know you'd like to be on the show, and a topic you'd like to discuss. Bring it. We want to connect with people, and we want to make people's lives a little better any way that we can. Any last words, babes?
Not that I can think of. Yeah, any comments, anything, just let us know, and we'll be happy to
Include you in an upcoming episode.
yeah.
Love you, Mom.
Love you guys.
All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Happy Saturday and all. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.